Warning, I'm just having fun with old cars. I hope you get some tips and a good laugh from watching, but don't do what I do on your projects. What is up, everybody? As you probably figured out by now, we're gonna change gears a little bit for the day. We've been working pretty hard on the car, pretty consistently on the car, and my truck's got neglected. It's just the way she goes, I guess. But the weather's been nice, honestly, for a couple weeks. And I want to start driving it, but we got some things we gotta sort out first. If you're new-ish or you haven't watched the video I did on the truck, I drove it every day for a long time, a few years, and it was incredibly reliable. And one of my favorite things about it is it used to never get hot. In fact, I'd almost never have to run the electric fans because it'd just stay cool all the time. And somewhere between then and now, I've lost that. And now granted, I've changed some things, which we'll kind of get into in this video. We're going to change some stuff and see if we can't fix our problem without buying new parts. Because, as you guys know, I'm cheap. I was gonna say I removed the panels that go here, but I don't know, you probably can't see the condition of that. That will not come off. So this is like I don't know, some kind of swingy thing now. Anyway, one of the things that's changed since I drove this every day is this trans cooler that I put here. Before it had one of the like long finned, like round, that's probably not a good hand motion to use, the long round ones with the fins on it, and it was like behind the bumper. And all the lines were in really bad shape. So I redid all that and put that trans cooler on the radiator, thinking better airflow. Oh, hang on. It's allergy season. Did I mention that? Anyway, I put that up on the radiator like that because I felt like when the transmission got hot, it wouldn't act right. So I thought maybe this would help. And my theory, man, got a lot of bodily functions going on. My theory in my brain is that being directly on the radiator is kind of acting like a heat sink. That's not the right word. It's not. I think it's building heat in the radiator. Because to me, I mean, there's other stuff that has changed. I set the timing with the timing light, which I don't think is having that much effect. The carburetor's been changed from a big 750 to the quadrajet, which honestly the motor runs as good now as it has in a long time. So I don't think that's the issue. The only thing I can process that's changed, also it's got a new-ish water pump on it. I did the thermostat in it. The fans still seem, you know, I use my calibrated airflow gauges, also known as my hand, behind the radiator, and it seems to be as good as it was as far as the fans go. So this is the only thing I can think of that makes sense, that's changed, that I can think of. So we're gonna try taking this off the radiator, and I haven't quite figured out how I'm gonna do it. Somehow I'm gonna make a bracket here or here or somewhere and we're gonna leave an air gap between the two. First thing I gotta do is try to get these. Unfortunately, when I did this, I made two of these fan holder doohickeys. They also hold the fan and the cooler, which is why the spacing looks so weird on them. So I need to try and save these, which is gonna be not super easy to do. Okay, we'll still be able to use that. That's good. Okay, that actually went okay. Now we gotta figure out how we're gonna do this. I want it to still be in the grill opening, but I'd like to have a couple inches. I don't know if I explained it well, but I think what's happening is the heat from the transmission is just sitting on the radiator, and when there's airflow, it's fine, but when I stop after driving it for a little bit, it's like the heat just soaks into it. That's what my uneducated brain says anyway. Okay, we got a plan. I'm a man with a plan. Stan. Anyway, so we've got these bolts here. Can you see those? There's one there, one there, and it's one. Those are two of the four that hold the radiator to these plates that somebody made. And I think my plan that I said I have, even though my name is not Stan, is I have this piece of aluminum strap, and I think what I'm going to do, I need to see if my brake will bend this. I think it will. And we're going to come off this bolt. We're going to hopefully bend, like, I don't know, maybe a 45 or a 90. I'll try and do 45 out, and then it'll go across, all the way across here, and then you know, same deal over here, and catch both those bolts. And then that should put this somewhere in this region. And all I'm gonna do, I'm gonna offset, it's gonna be hard to see. I'm gonna offset the hole for the bolt to the low side of the strap so it sticks up a little higher. And I think somebody's gonna tell me this won't work, but we're gonna try it anyway. I think I'm just gonna make some holes and probably zip tie this thing. The end has these thick plates. I think I'm just gonna run a zip tie around both ends. We'll put a couple holes in that strap, and that'll give us a couple inches of air gap here, and I don't think it will disrupt airflow too much. So now that we have a plan, I just gotta do it. So I'm gonna start doing that. First things first, we gotta go over on the bench and lay out some measurements. Okay, we're gonna lay out some measurements here. I measured between the bolt holes, it's 25 and 7/8, which is really the only, like, really important measurement, I guess. But before we get there, I'm going to lay out some bins, and basically you guys won't be able to see, but I'm gonna lay everything out off the middle of this piece. It's 32 inches long, so we're gonna have to trim it down, but if we go off the center, it should leave a little extra on both sides. Let me see. So the opening in the radiator is 23 inches. So we'll go 11 and a half each direction. This is not rocket geometry here. If it's off a little bit, nobody's ever going to see it. But we're still going to try and make it as accurate as we can. Because if you shoot for perfection, you'll probably not get it. Or something like that. Pretend that was a motivational comment. If you are really shooting for perfection, it is better to use a scribe, especially on aluminum. But you know, if somebody notices this thing's off a little, then they've looked over a lot of other stuff on the truck that's off more than a little. I gotta decide how far I want it to stand off. Probably it could be a little less than an inch. So we're gonna do an inch. Let's do 1 1/8 since we're actually, let's do 1 inch because we're let me think. If we don't bend these at 90, it makes everything more complicated because The 45 adds length. And we did 23. Probably add roughly 3/4. I'll probably add an inch to it, which doesn't leave us a ton of room for the bolt. I think we'll just do 90s. We'll just do an inch standoff on each side. Obviously, with my brake that I have, it's not going to be perfect. Have I said it's not going to be perfect? Maybe. Maybe once or twice. Okay. That'll get us, we actually need to transfer these to both sides so that depending on which way it goes in the brake, we can do the, because they got to go different ways or whatever. So I'm going to transfer those and then we'll go over there and see if we can make it work. I'm going to grab a square so we can make sure I have that in there good. Freaking perfect. Came out. Now, will this thing actually bend this aluminum? Oh yeah. Basically perfect. Way over 90, so I screwed that up. Generally speaking, the one thing you don't want to do is overbend it. Guess what I did? Let's see if we can, maybe we can. That's close enough. Good enough for who it's for. Anyway, as they say, now we can't really square this side, so hopefully my line is straight. Okay, I'm just doing this right on the line just because these bends don't have to end up. Normally you kind of have to offset it for the thickness of the material, but we're not. Don't ask me why. See how that looks. There we go. That's what we were shooting for. Now we got this pad to put our bowl holes, and we'll have a little extra standoff off the radiator. So now I'm just gonna knock the other side out, and then now all we gotta do is mark holes and trim this off, get it put on. Okay, you got to see, we got this all bent up. It seems like it actually worked out pretty perfectly. It's exactly 23 inches in between the bends, which is what we were shooting for. I went ahead and laid out my drill spots and my cut line. Instead of showing you guys that, I'm just going to explain how I did it. I don't know. Most of you probably know how to read tape measure, which is pretty much all it is. Just a little bit of math. So this is the math I did. Our center to center on the bowl holes was 25 7/8. It's 23 inches here to here. And so we know we need to go an even distance from here to the bolt hole and here to the bolt hole. So the difference between those two measurements is 2 7/8. We need to divide that by 2 because we need to go half that distance to here, half that distance to here. To divide a fraction in 2 is super simple. For all basic measurements, pretty much. The top number stays the same, double the bottom number. It works 100% of the time, 50% of the time. So half of 2 7/8 is going to be 1 inch and 7/16. That fraction thing is something I learned in wood shop in high school 15, 16 years ago. And I use it every day of my life for work and for the stuff I do on cars and stuff. Thank you to my woodshop teacher. He's pretty awesome anyway. But from there, I kind of just guessed on the. I mean, they're 2 1/4 inch from here to where I'm gonna cut it. That came out to 27.5 ish, which I measured is gonna fit in the space I have and leave me plenty of meat around the bolts. So that's what we got. I'm gonna knock out cutting these drilling and cutting it, and then we'll get it bolted and we'll get it mocked up and figure out how we're gonna mount the cooler to it. We're making progress. Hey, fun story. GoPro died, so you guys missed a little. Not much, just a bunch of drilling holes, honestly, but let me show you what I got. We got a bracket. I drilled some holes. We're gonna just zip tie the ends of that like I talked about. I was able to save this little deal, so we just put it right in the center. We'll have zip ties on both ends. It should be plenty strong enough. I was concerned about having the air just like dead head into this bracket, so we put some speed holes in her, so we hopefully get a little airflow rolling through those. And yeah, basically we just got to install it, which is going to be probably a little bit of a pain, but we're going to get it installed, and we're not too far from taking this thing on a test ride. That'd be pretty cool. Okay, as you can tell, we're on the road. I got a bunch of junk loaded up in the back. We're headed to drop it off. We also got a load of Kay's Corky Creation handmade pottery being delivered. Hopefully we make it, because that stuff's got to get where it's going. Right now we're sitting at 160 degrees. I let it warm up before I left. usually it does fine until I get into the stop and go situation. So yeah, I guess I'll update you as I go. I'm not gonna make you watch the whole drive, and we'll see how it goes. Wish me luck. That's why you drive old hot rods. You never know when you're gonna see a 32 hot rod running around. That's pretty neat. It's only been like 2 minutes, and we're just sitting at 170 degrees. So I think that's where this thermostat opens that I put in it based off what I've seen. We'll see. It's me again. We're at our first destination, which is not real far from the house, and we have not fixed our problem. As you can see, it's sitting like 185, 180, 185. It's pretty much been 170 the whole drive. It's not creeping up like it was before. I still would like to see it just stay 160 all the time. But I gotta run in and drop off this stuff, and we'll see if we make it the rest of this drive. This is what somebody going the wrong way on a one-way street looks like. People are dumb. Okay guys, I'm at my mom's house because thanks to the city, they take trash here, so got that unloaded and put over there. You know, my neighbors hate me, hers might as well hate me also. And we haven't really fixed our problem. So I'm down to a couple things. Possibly voltage, because I noticed it was lower than it should be when I pulled up here. Is charging at like 12 and a half, 13, probably closer to 12 and a half. I don't have any way to check that. I didn't bring any tools, so I dug through my mom's shed, found a adjustable hammer, and I think I'm gonna take a couple degrees of timing out of this deal. You know, why would I bring tools on a test drive? It doesn't make any sense, but it is what it is. We're making them do. Luckily these trucks have a mile between the back of the motor and the firewall for some reason. Now in honesty, I've already taken some out, and I've done it twice, and I've done a little fire up test to see how the truck starts, because I don't want it to start hard, because it was firing up really good. That's kind of what makes this suck, is this thing's been running really good. It's just this heat problem is killing me. And I know most people probably don't think the timing has anything to do with it, but it kind of does. Kind of where the heat gets dispersed in the motor depending on when ignition happens. So I'm just giving her the old ear job. Maybe the ear tuning job, not the ear job. That doesn't really sound great. But yeah, and then I gotta put a wrench back and we'll hit the road and see how it does on the way home. Hopefully better than it did on the way here. Probably not. obviously came this way because there's a lot of red lights, and I have only hit one red light. You can see that one, it creeped up a little bit. It's like everything we're doing is making a little bit of a difference, but I don't feel like we fixed it. I don't know. I need to stop somewhere and let it sit and see if it climbs back up. So far it seems to be running just fine with that timing out of it, so we'll probably leave that the way it is. Maybe take a little more out. I don't know. Well, we're back to the house, and you can probably see that needle is creeping up. And maybe you can also see our voltage is down to like 12.5. In fact, I'm gonna get out and try and check that real quick. Maybe it's a voltage problem, the fans aren't getting enough power. If you shut them off, it used to be 14 without them running, and it's about 13 now, so maybe we got an issue there. We definitely haven't fixed it, so let me check that before this thing overheats, and then we'll figure out what else we're gonna do. Okay, I'm grasping at straws here. I did a bunch of testing with the electrical system. I am losing power, but the alternator is charging at like 14.5. By the time it gets to the battery, it's down like 13.8 or something, but 13.8 should be all right, really. So I had this fan, and you know, I gave it the old feel test, hooking it up to power, and it doesn't seem any different than what I got on it. That one's the same size and everything, and it doesn't feel like it pulls an extraordinary more amount of air. Extraordinarily more air. Whatever the right way is to say that. Something else I was doing while I was driving it, every time I stopped, is I richen the fuel mixture a little bit. Just to see if maybe more fuel would help keep the motor cool, which it should in theory. And I'm kind of down to two things. The water pump, which I did replace, I can't remember when. Maybe it's not flowing as good as the one that was on it used to. It's possible, I guess. They were both stock water pumps. I know new stuff is kind of junk, but it had junk on it before, so it should be the same. The only other thing that I'm looking at is this. The way I've got this, this was supposed to be temporary, and you know, it's been permanent. This regulator is sitting up against the water pump, and it is pretty warm. Like, it's hot. That's about as long as I want to hold on to it. And this is real tight to this water neck hillbilly block off thing. The fuel lines are warm. I wouldn't say they're hot. They are substantially cooler on the feed side, or on like on the inlet side of the pump compared to what it is here. So maybe that extra heat in the fuel is not letting the fuel cool the motor in the way that it might. Like I said, I'm grasping at straws here. I don't know. I did feel in here, and the trans cooler is significantly cooler than the radiator is. So I think we might have done some good there. I don't know. I'm kind of lost and a little frustrated at this point. But I think I don't know. I think we're gonna end this video. I do think we did some good. We got out, drove our hot rod, saw some interesting stuff, like that little 32 3-window and somebody trying to hit me head on. So that was exciting, and I'm more motivated now to get this thing where I can drive it, because I just enjoy driving it around. So I think the next video I've got, if you can see, the power steering's not hooked up. I had a homemade bracket, it just doesn't work. And I think I'm gonna make, I've got some aluminum fuel line. I think I'm gonna make a line for that, a bracket for the power steering pump, and a different pump that will hopefully work. So that'll be the next video. And hopefully, if I get that stuff done, I can start driving this hot rod. I want to start going to cruise nights and stuff. Obviously, I want to take the Nova, but I got to get some shakedown miles on it first. And most of the cruise nights around here, I got to work. So I got to be able to make it to work and make it to the cruise night. So I want to make sure that thing's good before I start doing that. But anyway, thanks for watching. Get out there and work on your junk, because it's sitting around in your yard. It ain't no good for it. See ya.